Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North East Non-League Show, episode 24, National League North, Northern Premier, and Northern Premier Division 1 East special. Joining tonight, just finished training. We have Daniel Moore and Carl Morris. Lads, thank you very much for joining us so quick after training.
No worries, mate. The lads are still out there, so.
Like you say, working them hard for Saturday.
Yeah.
Excellent. But no, before we get into the show again, massive thank you to the sponsors, Jade Bell, and of course, proud to support If You Care Share Foundation as well. So what we're going to be doing tonight is going kind of through the teams from the National League down to the Division 1 East as well, kind of going through the teams, what we've kind of fought on this season, and obviously with games still left to play, how the season might end up for them as well. So just starting in the National League and Gateshead, and I think this one a few weeks ago when I was planning the show, it could have been a totally worst case scenario compared to what they're looking at now. But Bobby, you start with yourself. The step up from the National League North to the National League, it's massive now when you see some of the teams that's in there who they're playing against. But I think they came up, the main aim was to stay up, have a fight and just see what was happening, wasn't it?
Yeah, done really well to stay up. I think probably what's helped them is obviously that they were full-time last year. Going again full-time towards the end of the season, I think probably helped them over the line. They've got an identity that they stick to no matter what, which is good. So no matter who's playing, they're all singing off the same song sheet, which is, 9 times out of 10 going to get you where you need to be. But obviously, I think, is it the last 6 weeks they've had where they've obviously started to pick up points, and then they went and got in the trophy final, and then the second in the form table behind Wrexham.
Doing well.
So they deserve. I always say, no matter how many games you play in a league season, I think you deserve where you deserve to finish over a period of time. Decisions even themselves out, games even themselves out. So I think, they've done really well to stay in the league, and they'll probably be thinking now next year they can try and build on that and go a little bit better and try and push a little bit.
No, 100%. And Carl, like we say, with the form as well, they started off, I think it was a few 0-0 draws or 1-1 draws to start the season. Then the form kind of dipped before the cracking end of the season. A few fans, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, even calling for Williamson to leave as well, which was crazy, mate. He's done a cracking job this season overall, hasn't he?
I think he's done a really good job. My teams have done a really good job with them. I think if you look at the league as well, that if they win the last couple of games, they can almost finish mid-table, which is an achievement for them. And then defensively as well, I mean, you look at, they've got the best goal difference down the bottom end of the table, so that stands them in good stead as well.
Definitely. And Bobby, like you say, the players that they lost over, some of you saying what difference they've made. Obviously, the teams that they've gone to Notts County, but things got better as the season went on. I know there was one point where they literally couldn't name almost a full bench because they were having to put young ones on because there was that many players' injuries. But the last few weeks have kind of kept a settled team, the likes of Owen Bailey coming back, who I thought's been brilliant the last few weeks. But now the wins, the draws, they're pushing on the safe, and it's just all about, as you say, building for next season now and getting the right players in over the summer.
Yeah, we played them pre-season, and you could tell they had the quality. It was obviously Mike just busted, just needed to get what they wanted, the team they wanted to get out most weeks. I think if they'd had it probably a lot more than they probably wished for, they might have probably been a lot more comfortable. But I know, like you said, they've struggled for bodies in certain areas. They've had to go and get people in when they can, but obviously the players they've got in have probably helped them really well over the last couple of months.
No, they have. And Carl, to finish off with Gateshead, I mean, it's massive, the FA Trophy final against FC Halifax. It's great for the North East, but for the Gateshead area as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure Gateshead will take a big following to Wembley as well, and it's big for the area. Unfortunately, I've got split loyalties. From the goalkeeping side of things, we sponsor Sam Johnson, the Halifax goalkeeper. As well as I want to do well, but it'll be split loyalties on the day.
And getting on to the National League North now, starting with Dalton, with this one's gone completely opposite of Gateshead over the last few weeks. But Carl, start with yourself. Great start of the season. I think the talk of winning the league, dropped a little bit talking about playoffs, and then even last week dropping out of the playoffs. And like you say, since the 18th of March, played 8, won none, drawn 4, lost 4, and 4 points from 24. It's just not good enough, and it's just not looking good at the minute, is it?
No, it's been a bit of a tough run for them, hasn't it? It's a long old season though, 40 plus games. It takes on everyone. It's hard to maintain that throughout the season. But I don't know. A couple of wins, they might sneak the playoffs still, and then all's forgotten about.
That's it, isn't it? And like you say, Bobby, I mean, with the players mentioning Gateshead, but Darla's when you lose the likes of Beck, who was scoring goals for fun at the start of the season. And I know looking at the interview yesterday with Alan Armstrong after us, and he looked a beaten man, to be honest. But hopefully, like you say, they've still got them couple of games left to get in the playoffs. And if you sneak in there, them last couple of wins, that momentum could take them on, and you never know, push them on. But do you think we've kind of going to summer as well, they've had the trouble off the pitch with the fans, are getting fined all the time, and like you say, that money could be going to the budget. They've got to sort a lot of things out over the summer, don't they?
It's a big club, massive club, isn't it, really? And Alan's lost some senior players. And at any level of football, when you lose a couple of senior players, obviously Becky was on fire. He was top scorer, I think, when he left in the league.
Yeah.
But when you lose, especially that league, it's brutal, isn't it? Brutal. I've watched Spenny a few times, and you know, when you take that big target man out your side, probably they've had to change the way they play a little bit, which halfway or 3/4 to halfway through a season is not ideal. But again, like Carl said, it's a long season and takes its toll mentally, physically. But hopefully, I'd like to. Obviously, you want to see North East teams in the playoffs. Hopefully, they can pick themselves back up, and it's one win. You know, one win, or you can turn it round for them. And it's, I think, is it from 5th down to 13th? Is 6 points or something?
It's crazy. Yeah.
I looked at it the other night, and like you said, one win can spin it back round for them. But I know Alan, you know, like myself, it does take its toll on you. And you just as a player for them, you just got to think, right, you've got a couple of games left, go and get as many points as possible and see where it gets you.
Do you think as well, though, if the players he mentioned, obviously, that he found it hard to get them lift before the game, you could be literally playing in the Conference North. It's a step off one division below the League Two. It shouldn't be hard at times, should it? But it's that momentum, and it's like in players' heads as well, isn't it?
Momentum, but mentally, anyone you speak to in football, mentality is massive, and obviously physically as well. I know playing Saturday, Tuesday, they play a lot more. I think they play 46 games with players probably having jobs as well. It takes its toll on you mentally, probably more than physically, because lads look after themselves a lot more nowadays. So they're probably physically okay or not far away from each other, the teams they play against. But mentally, for me, it's a massive thing in sport, not just football now.
No, it's huge. And like I say, hopefully they can get that playoff spot. Next team, get on to Spennymoor and Carl. I mean, looking at the table, it's a shame of the start that had to start the season because it could have been high up and kind of secured in the playoffs, but it is still a possibility, outside chance. I mean, what's your thoughts on them this season?
Again, similar to Darlow, it's a long old season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Started well, fell off, but I don't know. Can they still sneak the playoffs?
I think by a point, I think it's got to be like a lot of swinging roundabouts, like, but yeah.
Is that a step too far though for them this season? Possibly. I'd like them to sneak the playoffs, and then it'll help us Durham Challenge Cup a little bit.
No, it would be good to see. But no, Bobby, like we say, with the management changing there as well, I mean, the management coming at the start of the season, bring all the players that they want to bring in. 3 or 4 weeks later, they're gone, and Ainsley's trying to bring them in. And it was just every day the player was leaving, the player was coming, the player was going out on loan, the player coming on loan. And thankfully now they are starting to steady the ship. They had that good little run where they were winning games for fun, and obviously now starting to slip away a bit more, but they still could sneak into that playoffs. I mean, what's your thoughts on spending this season?
I think it's a club, obviously, part-time in that league.
Yeah.
I think and I'll always believe it's a club that's got to have a bit of a local identity to it. You know, local players playing for the badge. And when I've been down to watch them recently, that's what I've saw.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they've probably improved over the last few months. They've obviously had a massive turnover of players from the summer. But when I've been down to see, I went to watch them against Peter Sports, and they were 3-0 down. And then second half, it was like a team that I'd been involved in there, where it was, go out there and do or die and play for the badge, play for the town kind of team, and that's what I think Jay and Jamie have brought back to Spenny. I think they lost, under obviously the old management, bringing players from all over Manchester and further afield. Yes, you might need that in that league. I understand that, but I think Spenny's a team that have that local identity still in the side.
Yeah, like I say, the players up here means a lot more, doesn't it, the football at the North East, I think, as well. So hopefully you never know, like you say, with as you mentioned, from the playoffs down to mid-table, anyone can face them playoffs over the next couple of weeks. So I have to keep eyes on that one as well. Finishing off with Blythe in that league, and Bobby, sticking with yourself. I mean, let's be honest, looking at it a few weeks ago, I can't believe you actually talking about possible staying up. But what a run they've been on the last couple of weeks as well. But it is in the own hands now. Do you think they can stay up, or do you think they've just had that many 2 wins and they're going to fall off it?
I think when you're down there for that long and then you put yourself in that position, you'd be killing yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you went and slipped up, I don't know what fixtures they've got left, but for me, I'd imagine Graham won't be letting them switch off at any stage, thinking the job's done. It's like the other end of the table, isn't it? One or two results, you can go from 30 to the playoffs. Like 1 or 2, if they drop points over the last 2 games, they could end up back in the zone where they don't really want to be. But they've done brilliantly, like the last couple of weeks. Like you said, probably 2 months ago, they were cut adrift from everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
So they've done, really well. It's at a stage of the season where no matter top end of the table, teams are stuttering, bottom end of the table, teams are stuttering, a couple of wins, and you can gain 3 or 4 places.
Oh, you can. And Carl, for the club itself and also the area, how important it would be for Blythe to stay in that league? Obviously, looking at Darlow slipping out of the playoffs now with that division next season. Sorry, you look at likes of Darlow, Spenny, South Shields, and then Blythe. It would be a great league to be involved in, and good for the club and the finance as well, won't it?
Yeah, it's a massive game for the North East in that league here with South going up as well. Sitting outside the relegation zone now, aren't they? So, like Bob said, it'll be. I don't think Graham will let that slip. Over the last few weeks, they've been keeping a lot of clean sheets as well. So it brought back around everyone. So I'd like to see them stay in the league. A massive, massive club in the North East.
No, it'd be great if you could. Just before we get the Northern Premier League as well, a lot of people watching now, smashing the double figures. So, Ferry, thank you for watching the show as well. Any questions for the lads? I know we're going to get the Heaven Town as well. Get the questions in as well. And everyone that's watching, please hit that subscribe. I think we're free away now from 800 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. So, thank you for your support as always. And getting on to the Northern Premier League now, and starting with South Shields, who I know we've got the chairman on Monday night, which I can't wait for that one, to ask him a few questions about the future and the plans for the club as well. Carl, starting with yourself. I mean, you look at South Shields, and after the COVID season, the playoff, the penalty heartache, and they've finally done. I know a few people said a few weeks ago they were bottling as well, but they just kept digging away. I mean, what's your thoughts on South Shields and how far can they actually go with the financial, the fans, and the club setup it's got at the minute?
It was like a big hoodoo, wasn't it, for them trying to get the league? A couple of weeks, you thought they might have been chucking it away a little bit, but they seem to have been getting over the line. Again, I don't know what the plan is for them moving forward. But I'm sure they've come this far. I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. I think they could, with the right recruitment again, and somebody might be in a position to be pushing top end of the table.
No, it'd be amazing. I know my friend said he's kind of season ticket. All they need now is, I think it's the electric scoreboard, and I think the ground suit will almost, I think, for League Two, which is just showing the ambition of the chairman. He said exactly what he said he'd take over. That's where he wants to be, and it would be great if they can ever get there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was up not too long ago, and the ground is ready made. It's someplace now.
Really good. But yeah, like I said, Monday night we've got Jeff Thompson on, so asking a lot of questions hopefully coming in from as well. What we come to yourself, we're giving you Whitby. Like you say, it's pretty much like all teams this season, the way they start the poor form, and it was the same down there. The players were coming in and out each week, and it was just a change. Obviously, change in management. Haslam stays in as permanent manager. And the squad seemed to settle down, and they picked some key wins up and some obviously secure safety. I mean, what's your thoughts on their season, and is it now time for Whitby or someone or the directors there to now kind of push them on? Because the last couple of seasons, they always just seem to be happy with where they are and staying up, and not trying to go against the ambition, but the players and the fans would just want a little bit extra down there now, don't they?
Yeah, it's a tough league though. Tough league. Obviously, geographically where they sit, they've got obviously Scarborough have just gone up as well. So if you look at players in and around that North Yorkshire area that are of a good quality, I'd imagine Scarborough there or thereabouts as well. But they do the same every year. They I remember last year they weren't far outside the playoffs at one point.
Yeah.
Nathan's done well to turn them round, and I think, like you said, I think they've got the squad settled down a little bit towards the end of the season, and they know who's there week in, week out, and they've done well. It's consistency at every level, and they've probably been a bit more consistent since Christmas time. And they're comfortably in the league again next year. So obviously, I don't know the workings behind how Whitby do things behind the scenes, but yeah, I can't imagine, especially some of the players they've got there, that they'd be happy to just try to stay in the league. I think they've got some players there that, some good young players that will probably be wanting to be playing in the division above and compete against teams of that level.
Definitely. I know we had Shane Blandon a few months ago, and he said exactly the same. It's like every pre-season he comes back and it's a brand new squad he has to try and get settled into again, and you just need to have that settling squads in any league, any division, really, to push on, don't you?
Yeah. Well, me personally, I don't really like changing squads. Try and bring 2 or 3 in. I'm not an overall kind of person, and I'd probably say every manager's the same if they can keep the same squad and they're competitive, add your little ingredients to it, and you're not going to be far away. So Whitby, they finished all right. So I'd imagine Nathan will be wanting to keep that squad that he's got now together and add to it. And yeah, what you look at the teams in the playoffs now, and you can probably say they'll feel they're not a million miles away from what's there.
Definitely. And Carl will give you Morpeth, and after a lot of success over the last few seasons for Morpeth, and same as Spennymoor as well, I would kind of say this season hasn't been kind of what they've expected. I don't think it's been quite disappointing, but they have secured safety with wins against Hyde and Belper. But what was your thoughts on them? Do you think they would expect to finish a bit higher than what they have done this season, and do you think it's a big summer ahead for them?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know if they're about to go through a bit of a transition period now in terms of players going out, players coming in. I'm sure that I've expected to be finishing a little bit high. But again, another side who just rallied together towards the end, and a bit of belief, a bit of one result can just change it. Like Bob was saying before, that's all it takes. And you're on a bit of a run, and 3-4 results together, and you've propelled yourself right up the table.
Yeah, it's like you say, especially after last week, it was starting to get a bit nervy for them because I think they were slipping just every position down. They were on above the relegation, and if they didn't win last week, it could have been going to the last couple of games. It could have been a worry for them, couldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been a real shame as well.
Yeah, definitely. And coming to yourself, Bobby, with Marsk, and again, it's crazy to think that. I know they're playing at the minute, but even that they've got a chance of staying in the league this season, because, I mean, the start of the season obviously didn't start as well. Obviously, Woodhouse comes in and literally players signing by the hour and going by the hour. I think that period as well. And the last few weeks, obviously, Jared's come in and they've got them back playing some great football and on a great run at the minute. And hopefully, like I say, they can stay in the league. I mean, what's your thoughts on Marsk this season?
In my opinion, if Carl didn't go back, they're down.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Carl's great manager, great bloke. And I think obviously he just fits in with a club. Like it's his club really over the last umpteen years. And I genuinely believe if he'd have not gone back there, they'd have gone down. No, it had to be him. I don't think anyone else could have gone in there and got what he's got. I know he had other things on, and that's the reason, he had a break from it, I think. But since he's gone back, again, they're probably one of the form teams in the league.
Yeah.
and it's one of them, same as Blythe. You look a couple of months ago and you're thinking, you know, is the writing on the wall? But then Carl goes back and gets a totally different tune out of them. But, you know, there was a team there that probably was very successful, and it got tore apart a little bit, I think, you know, by the manager that came in. And it took, again, teams in the Northeast have to have a bit of an identity to them, I think. Mask is one of them. And they had a real identity, some real big players, real big personalities that got them promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think they'll stay up with Carl in charge, 100%. I genuinely think they'll be all right now. I think, if they win one more game, does that keep them up? Or
Yeah, I was going to say, I wish we had a live like upstate, because they are playing at the minute as well, so it'd be nice to see what the score actually is at the minute. Because I know they'll be hoping to get that win tonight. But that couple of weeks where he kind of came in Woodhouse and selling players on Facebook, I mean, it was just a crazy 2 weeks, and it was just literally selling the players one by one, and the fans must have think, what's going on here? Is the club even going to continue next season at that point, wasn't there?
Yeah, but it was mad. Obviously, outside looking in, you don't know the ins and outs, why or what's happened, but obviously outside looking in, you know, what's going on. You know, you could see that obviously the senior players weren't happy.
Yeah,
which is football, but to tear a team apart that obviously went and won the league, and they did start well in that. They started really well in the league. I remember them being sat second or third at one point. But yeah, it'd be nice for obviously Carl to go away, come back, and keep them in the league from where they were.
No, it'd be really good. Like you say, hopefully after this we'll check them. Hopefully they'll be winning as well. And getting on to Division 1 East, which I've absolutely loved this season. And I think that we've kind of chatted on previous shows in the next few seasons. I think it's going to be almost like a Northern League Premier, where it's just going to be full of Northern League sides. And the strength, and it's just showing the quality of the teams that has came up and competed and done well in the league as well. So start with yourself, Carl. We're going to give you Stockton, obviously sitting second at the moment. Playoff secured, good season, done well in the lads. Stuck in, and been some great battles between yourselves and Stockton. I mean, what's your thoughts on them and this season?
They've done really well. Anyone who finishes runners up behind Workstop, then you fully deserve it. They're a good club, really good club. We get on well with the management team, and we know all the players from the Northern League side of things. And yeah, it's been some good battles over the years, really good battles. But again, Stockton deserve to be there. I know they, same as anyone, they hit a bit of a blip, and then they've come through the other side and they've kicked on. Yeah, I think like I said, they just deserve to be there.
Yeah, definitely. And for yourself, Bobby Dunstan, sitting sixth a minute, 2 points off the playoffs. Should have been Carlton on Saturday. Long Eaton played Brighouse. Close game. Obviously, things could happen there, and they could end up in the playoffs. But overall, obviously, for where they've came, I think they've obviously had a decent season. Obviously, the sign of Finnegan, who's helped with the goals as well. But they'll be overall happy. Know where this finish come the end of Saturday, won't they?
Yeah, I think they'd have probably, knowing Swaz, they'd have wanted playoffs. They've been there or thereabouts. Like, is this their third year in the league? So I know they've been there or thereabouts. And I think that COVID season, they were doing really well. I think they were second or third at that point. But again, they've had a decent season. They've got some good senior players that, you know, come business end of the season are going to be there or thereabouts, and they've done what's been asked of them. You know, they can only win the games that's been put in front of them, and I won't be surprised if they go and comfortably win down at Carlton.
Yeah, like you say, it'd be nice to see, like you say, yourself, Stockton and Dunstan in the playoffs. It'd be absolutely fantastic, that it would be. And North Shields for yourself, Carl, seventh, no playoffs, but a lot. I mean, I think it's just nice to see them kind of finishing where they have done. I know a lot of talk about kind of relegation back down to Northern League Division 2 because of the ground and the funding. But luckily now it looks like they have found the funding and developed the ground. It would be a shame for them to draw out the league, but with the talk that's going at the moment, it looks like they could be settling hopefully another season in that league.
Yeah, I think they've done really well. I mean, the regarding the ground and stuff, it's got nothing to do with the management or the players. They can only win the game and finish where you finish. They've done that, and they've consolidated in the league, and I'm sure they stay in the league. They'll be pushing and aim for the playoffs next season.
No, like I say, hopefully the next few weeks, I know it'll be crucial. I know there was a lot of talks a few weeks ago about dropping back down to Northern League Division 2 and stuff like that. It's crazy just to lose a team like that, wouldn't it?
It'd be madness, and going back down to the Northern League Second Division that'd be very harsh for me.
Yeah, be a proper shame. And for yourself, Bobby Concert, sitting 14th, just need that one point for safety versus Lincoln, sitting 17th on Saturday as well. It wasn't obviously looking too good for them, but in come Tony Fawcett and starting to do a good job. And it looks like they are safe now for another season. And I think they'll be quite happy just to stay there and, like you say, build over the summer and move on next season, won't they?
Yeah, players, I think they've had quite a biggish turnover of players.
Yeah.
They've had quite a few injuries, and it doesn't help any side. So it's not, like you say, nice to see a team come up, compete. They've done well, same as North Shields, come up, new to them, and they've competed well enough. They've picked up some really good wins, especially at home.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure they'll be doing the same as every team and looking in the summer to see if they can go a bit further and push up towards the playoffs, I'd imagine.
Hopefully. And with yourself, Carl, Shildon sitting 19th at the minute, so obviously need to win or they are down automatically. And it's been a tough season. Obviously, the managerial farce that kind of went on where in charge for 3 or 4 days and leaves, and just kind of what was going on there. It's the mid-season. It would be a shame to see them go down as well. But do you think they can pick up that win the last game of the season?
I'd like to see them pick up a win. I'd like to see, at least try and stay in the league.
Yeah.
Bob was there myself, but I was there for 2 years. It's a really good club. It's a shame of how well they done last year. I think it was done early doors in the season with the manager changes, and they just left themselves. Maybe it's just a bit too much to do, unfortunately.
No, definitely. We're going to finish on Hebburn now, and a lot of fans in our Facebook group absolutely love the club and adore it. And like you say, they're just on about it all the time. Things going on and off the pitch, absolutely adoring. So hopefully, there's a lot of people watching who support Hebburn as well. And just starting with yourself, Bobby. I mean, have you achieved what you've set out to do at the start of the season, or are you thereabouts, or were you expecting a little bit more?
Yeah, we're there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
We said improve on last year. Big turnover of players. And the aim was to finish top 8, and obviously we've achieved that. Do I wish we'd have been a bit better? Yeah, because I would do the league. Yeah, but overall, I'm pleased, and the club's brilliant. You know what they do around the town, and obviously I don't live up here, but what they do around the town and around the club for the kids and the supporters, I'm not surprised. You've got people saying they love the club. It's brilliant. And I think, one of the aims from us was to try and bring that mentality of, having fun with it, winning, making everyone as happy as we can, because I think they deserve that. It's a great setup, and there's a platform here for it to go as far as it wants to go.
No, definitely. And with yourself, Carl, like we mentioned there, looking at finishing the top 8, but you've done more than that season. You've competed in a higher league, obviously league position, what you were hoping. So, how overall pleased are you with the season as well?
Yeah, like the gaffer said there, the aim was top 8. That was the aim within our closed walls. We don't shout it from the rooftops. We keep that inside. And yeah, quietly confident, I think, as we kicked off for the season. And I don't think we've been outside the top 6 all season. No. So really good season. Like Bob said, could we have been better at times? Yeah, like any side, but it's a long old season. And hopefully we'll just get over the line on Saturday and secure the playoffs.
Oh, fingers crossed. And Bobby, the playoffs as well, like you say, it's looking great at the moment. Some cracking teams that's going to be in there, but obviously looking at it, it could be. How good would be a Hebburn Dunstan final?
Oh yeah, well, I'm not bothered. I just want to be in it. Yeah, we shake hands with whoever you're playing against, but at the end of the day, you'd probably ask Mickey from Stockton, want to win. That's be all and end all, and we've put ourselves in a position where, if we win 3 games, you've got promotion. So it's been a long old season, some ups and downs, which I said would be,
Yeah.
Highs, lows, but it's just about being steady and can you get the job done? And that's what we'll be asking the players on Saturday, to get the job done. And then we'll play who we need to play on Tuesday. It could be one of 4. So
Yeah.
it's going to be, it'll be tense, I'd say, on Saturday. And I think that's probably, we'll hold our hands up. The pressure, it does get to you. We've got some young lads in the dressing room who have not been involved in games where, yes, they've won the Vars, but week in, week out, when teams are wanting to beat you because they see Hebburn Town set second or third in the league, some of our players have never had to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it on the job, and they're giving everything they can to, pay back the supporters and what the club have done for us this season.
No, definitely. And apart from that, obviously, Carl, you've got the final to look forward to, and that's a massive for the club as well. I'm absolutely good because it's the day I fly as well. So I keep asking her, I cannot get there and get there. She's like, no, you've got no chance to get to the airport in time. But what a game that is for the club and the area. I know the coaches on as well. It's absolutely massive for the club and the city and the town as well, isn't it?
Huge. Like we said before, the support's been amazing since we've walked into the club in the summer, home and away. I mean, there's a hardcore set of fans who travel all over with us. But in terms of the Durham Challenge, I think it was 500 tickets. I think they've sold already,
so far, yeah.
Which is class. It's really, really good from the club. The support's brilliant, and hopefully we can give them a good night.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be a great night, that one. And finally, Bobby, with yourself, I mean, we chatted with yourself, chatting about yourself. We had a little bit of chat about Hebburn Town at the end of the interview that we did with yourself, and we kind of said the squad that you were building, but over the summer, between yourselves and the management, built a great squad. The lads that you've got there done great. Pearl, Martin getting the goals, experience, the likes of Walton as well. But for me, Aaron Thompson coming in has had a great season as well. You must be proud of the lads of what they've done so far, leading into the playoffs and obviously the last game of the season. Yeah,
really proud of them. They've worked hard. They've stuck together as a team, which is what we do. We get a team together. They give everything. Otherwise, they won't be in the dressing room. Hand on heart, say all of them have given everything. One loss, whatever, they give everything, and that's all you can ask, really. Non-league, because some lad, we travel back midweek. They've got to get up and go to work and whatever. Yeah. But they've took on board what we want to do, and they could, have an unbelievable week. Like next week, you could have you've got to go and do the job Saturday, and then you can enjoy the playoffs and see what happens there. And then the week after, you've got a really good cup final to look forward to. And to be honest, that was the plan. We did say we wanted to get to the Durham Challenge Cup final and win it. So they've got themselves there now. So it's over to the players going in. It's what you're in football for. These weeks, pressure's on a little bit. Go and enjoy yourself and see where it takes you.
No, it's a massive couple of weeks. But from ourselves, honestly, both lads, we thank you so much for coming on. We wish you the best of luck for Saturday, and fingers crossed for the playoffs and that cup final as well.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. But Lauren, again, everyone that's been watching as well, hitting double figures throughout the night, absolutely fantastic. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe as well. Some great shows coming up before we go on holiday as well. I mean, Sunday coming up, 7:15, our Northern League special. Newton Aycliffe just won the league last night. Going to be chatting about them, and obviously just speaking to Bobby before we came on there, some huge games on Saturday in the Northern League. Obviously, Horden Borough Rangers got to play each other. Whoever wins the league. Bishop Portland Ashton, whoever wins gets the playoff position. Absolutely fantastic how it's ended like that. We've got some great guests coming on as well. Bryson, Fell and Thompson, 3 managers from the Northern League coming on to have a chat about that as well. And Monday night to finish things off before a little holiday break as well. 8:45, South Shields, the Champions special, and the chairman coming on, Jeff Thompson. So some great guests coming on as well. But everyone that's been watching, and like I say, for you both, you lads, thank you so much for coming on, and fingers crossed for the weekend for you as well.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.